What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with the Sultan of Sando, Gablim, and Maui Yap. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year!
Merry
Magpaputok!
Christmas and Happy New
Pero
Year
mag-ingat sa paputi. Mag-ingat sa paputok. Mag-ingat sa paputok.
Wise words
from our resident
the Sultan
doctor.
of Sando. Oo nga no. We're doing this recording on New Year's Eve. So Happy New Year to everyone. Ingat sa lahat. Hoping you have a good holiday vacation so far. We're doing another tradition here at Boleros. Every year we do this. We've done this in previous seasons. We're going to do our season 87 Boleros draft. So if you're new to the show or you're new to this segment, just to explain, we're doing our fantasy draft. The way we do it is snake draft tayo. We do have an order already. Randomize to. Pinakita ko sa kanilang dalawa yung pag-randomize ng list.
Luto!
Nakita mo, Gab. Witness ko si Maui. First pick will go to Maui. Second pick will go to me. Third pick si Gab. And then snake draft tayo. So reverse order. We'll be picking 8 players to build our season 87 team. Tapos, rule is, when we're building our 8-man team, we can only draft 1 player from each team. So all of our teams will have a player from each team, well represented. Second, we're drafting the player based on their performance for this season. So for example, sino ba? John Abate tuloy. Torculas or someone like Harold Alarcon. Let's say si Harold Alarcon. We're drafting Alarcon based on his season 87 performance. So you would say maybe last season he was a bit better, so not as good as this year. Or sa yung mga injured players, si Abadam, you're drafting him based on what he was this season, diba? Which is mostly injured siya. So medyo mababa yung ranking ni Abadam sa amin. So that's the second rule. And then just like in the UAAP, we can only draft 1 FSA. So we can only play 1 FSA per team. So once you draft an FSA, hindi ka na pwede mag-draft ng iba.
Hindi mo pwede ipagsama si Agonane sa kasi Balogo.
Sayang.
Di mo pagpapag-reunite ang CEU big men.
Yun yung plano namin ni Gab actually. Top 2 picks.
The big reunion.
Okay. So we'll do a recap halfway through the draft after we pick all 4 players, and then we'll continue with the second half. So let's get started. Maui, who are you going with the first pick of the season 87 draft?
Yeah, I think
Swerve.
Hindi ako magsuswerve. Ulo ko na lang.
Just as a background, if you wanted to watch last season 86 fantasy draft, these 2 fools picked 2 UST players, the number 1 and number 2 pick. Because they left KQ on the board for me. I was the last pick of the first round. They picked 2 UST players because UST was so bad last season.
1-13 season. I think that tells you the whole story. I think it would be crazy, di ba? You have to pick the two-time back-to-back MVP, the runner-up from the runner-up team. You have to pick Kevin Kiambao, di ba? If you just look at the skill standpoint, I mean, there's a reason why nagkatotoo yung rumors from last season that KBL teams are already vying for services. You have to pick Kevin Kiambao as your first pick in any UAAP draft. I would say that was our main mistake. Sa amin, from the previous season, I will not make the same mistake this season. There's nothing more to be said. He's the 2-time MVP. He's the most skilled player. You can play him from 1 to 5. So yeah, Kevin Kiambao.
Damn it. Akala ko yung pipili ka na naman ng someone from the worst team eh. Parang yung Ateneo, given the slim pickings in that team like last year. Pero no-brainer naman kung si KQ yung pipiliin mo. I mean, if I wanted to go number 1 and build the team around KQ. I mean, he's just the best player. sad to see him leave the UAP, but happy as well to see him leave the UAP because we've said for a long time he's too good for the UAP. Every time I watch this guy, he's just too good for college basketball in the Philippines. So good luck to him. Hopefully he shines in the KBL and beyond, wherever he goes. If he wants to go to the NBA, if he tries to go for the NBA, I wish him luck. The odds are
Support.
against him, but I wish him luck.
Totoo yan. It will be a different season next year without KQ and JD playing for LaSalle and UP. No-brainer pick, Maui. I agree with that pick. For the second pick, actually, nahirapan ako. I'm choosing between two guys. But you know what? For the second year in a row, I'm going with the same team as Maui's pick. And I'm going with Game Shark Mike Phillips. Gab nicknamed him Game Shark Mike for a reason. He's a cheat code. When you have him on his team, you have an unfair advantage over most of the other teams. So I'm going with Game Shark Mike. Also, the number 2 in MVP statistical points this year. He's the number 2 for a reason. I think, Maui, you picked him as one of your most improved guys because he has been unbelievably good this season. Something that we didn't expect. Kahit na ang galing na niya last season, rebound machine, energy guy, defensive guy, he was a different player this season. So I'm going with Game Shark Mike.
Front runner for MVP for season 88, I would say.
Wow.
Early prediction.
Well, I can't say no. I think LaSalle still has a chance in season 88 just because they still have, well, based on rumors, he's staying for season 88. And I don't think he's eligible to go pro in other countries anyway. So I think he will be staying with LaSalle season 88. And yeah, it still makes them one of the favorites for that title. Agree ako dyan. For my third pick, lang hiya kayong dalawa. I wanted those two. Those were at the top of my board, KQ and Mike Phillips. I wanted it. But I have to go with someone who I think proved that he belonged in the UAAP, that he was not a bust. He was not a Div 1 bust, unlike your previous Div 1 bust. I'm going with Quinton Millora-Brown of the UP Fighting Maroons. I think he was the best defensive center. Maybe a toe-to-toe with Mike Phillips. Just a cheat code as well. I mean, there's a reason that UP survived even having a mid-FSA like Pikachu Ododo. And they had QMB. He was spectacular in the finals. We all said it. We all thought that he should have been the finals MVP. He controlled the paint, had a spectacular offensive game 1, blocked a ton of shots, changed a ton of shots. Even though they weren't blocked, he changed a ton of shots. What else can I say? If I'm building a team and I have a rim protector with a caliber of a Quinton Millora-Brown, I think I'm good. And if Sam has Mike Phillips, I have the guy who can match up with Mike Phillips.
Yeah.
QMB. So QMB is the third pick of this fantasy draft. And I think the cornerstone of my defense. Because I'm gonna focus on defense.
And yung pick mo, no, compared to Mike Phillips, can hit crucial free throws. yun yung big difference sa kanila.
Clutch siya, pare.
Clutch free throws.
The wall of the crowd behind the basket did not bother QMB in game 3. So, I mean, he's also pretty old already. I mean, he's also very mature already. He's had a ton of experience already in the US.
6 years in college.
As a starting, he started in Div 1. So, you know the quality that you're gonna get from QMB. And we've all been saying it. He should be in the Gilas pool. He should be as early as now. I mean, one of our backup centers is Japet Aguilar. I think we can put QMB in that spot if he's eligible, right? I don't think we've had confirmation yet from FIBA that QMB is eligible for the Philippines. But if he is, he should slot right into that role behind Kai Soto.
Yeah, very good pick. QMB pick. I guess you can slot him in anywhere, any system. I think he's proven that with his three 3 different stints sa college and succeeding in all of them, including yung Vanderbilt stint, which is under Jerry Stackhouse. I think UMB is a perfect fit for the future of Gilas Pilipinas. Hopefully he gets that eligibility. I'm not sure why it's taking that long, but QMB, finally, somebody from the Division 1 ranks has proven us all wrong, di ba? So maybe UAAP teams will start to get more Division 1 players again and will probably be disappointed. Kasi QMB...
Natakot dati. Dahil kay Troy White, hindi natakot.
Well, meron zone twins naman from this season, but I think si QMB...
Mas lalong natakot, Maui.
QMB showed us yung value of getting a quality Division 1 player. I talked to one of the UP assistant coaches during the off-season. Even sila, ginulat ni QMB nung finals. Apparently, he was just hosting the whole regular season. And when everybody was talking about a potential Gilas stint, and when the UP wanted to reclaim the title, here and behold, QMB came out of nowhere and showed his offensive bag. I think that's one of the main reasons why all three of us agree that he should have been the finals MVP for last season's finals.
Mala Lebron no? Nag-coast lang tapos nung seryoso na biglang nagpakita.
Don't talk about that to Lakers fans, Sammy. It has not
sensitive
worked
topic.
Out.
Sensitive topic.
It has not worked out for that,
sorry,
that
Lakers.
coasting stuff.
Sorry mga Lakers fans.
No, it's very painful. Actually, I was gonna say this was a very painful pick for me because now I took someone from UP. I won't be able to take JD because I wanted to take JD as I've been calling him the best point guard in the UAAP. I think it's clear now that he was the best point guard in 1987. But I did pick UMB. I won't be able to pick him. I'm sure one of these two fools are gonna pick JD Kagulangan. But for my second pick, since it's snake draft, I'm picking the second. I am picking QMB's Kryptonite. The first FSA off the board, Mo Tongkara from the UST Growling Tigers. Now you might be asking, why pick two centers? Have you watched Mo Tongkara?
He's not no a center. He's not a center. Yeah.
He might be playing as a center in the UAP, but he ain't no center. He's definitely a wing that's just playing center in the UAP. He can shoot from the outside, mid-range, can handle the basketball, can protect the rim some. I mean, he's smaller in stature, but to play alongside QMB, I think there's a very perfect fit. And Maui picked him as his best FSA. I had Mo Konate, but I think Mo Konate is a more traditional center rather than Mo Tongkara. I mean, if you're gonna start two bigs, one 6'10" and another, what's Mo Tongkara? I think 6'7". Mm-hmm. I think they can play well together. QMB on the inside. Mo can definitely space the floor. We've seen it this season. I think offensively, he was the most impressive center, the most impressive FSA of this season. A very polished center. Now, there are rumors that he might be leaving the Growling Tigers nest, but none is confirmed. So he's still in UST. And for this season, he was amazing. I think if he wasn't suspended, I think he would have battled for that top center slot or the top FSA slot in that mythical five. So he was one of the reasons why UST made the Final Four, came back to the Final Four this season. I don't think there will be a problem playing him alongside QMB on my team. Again, he's not a center. Despite him playing a center, he's not a center. He fits perfectly, I think, beside QMB. And tall front line, I think I'm in a very good position to win this draft. Sammy, Maui.
I love that pick. I was actually planning on getting him as my second pick also. I wanted to, just like you, I wanted to pair him with another big guy in Mike Phillips. Kasi I agree with you. I don't think he's a center. He would be a better he would be at a better position as a 3 or a 4. So I wanted to pair him with Mike Phillips. So I love that pick. I think I agree with everything you said. I think just like with FEU, it would be crazy if UST let this guy go. He's clearly a really, really good FSA, and barring any issues, he has denied it. Nag-post na rin si Tongkara supposedly. So he has denied na he's leaving UST. So barring any issues or Ange Kwame level recruit from UST, I think Tongkara should be the FSA next season.
Hopefully, he is. Diba? Kasi if not, it's gonna be another rebuild for UST. We saw what happened when their FSA decided not to play. Diba? They finally got a decent FSA, and as Gab mentioned, in my opinion, he is probably the best FSA from last season. I said this because I like his versatility, which Gab highlighted when he picked him. You can play him basically as a stretch four, has the handles, has the 3-point shot, can switch on the pick and roll. Probably perfect complement to QMB. Very strong front court. Gab is going for that very, very strong front court in the UAAP. That's one of the recipes for success when you play in the UAAP. You have to have a decent or even good FSA at best to be better. If you don't have that, you have to have a game shark, which is has two players has only proven that they could match up with FSAs. In that, Mike Phillips and QMB. There's a reason why they went early in our draft also.
Again, but it's also a painful pick for me because I'm not getting JD from UP since I picked someone from UP. I'm also not gonna be able to draft Fortsky. I'm a big fan of Fortsky. I mean, he's the second best point guard in the UAAP of the past season. Was the second best point guard. So I have from UP and UST. I'm gonna have to pick another point guard that I hope you guys don't take. Sammy, ikaw naman.
Next pick for me, I'm not overthinking it. I feel like I'm getting the best player available here. Gab, you mentioned them already. I'm going with JD Kagulangan, the finals MVP, the hero, one of the main heroes of UP this finals. Hit clutch threes when it mattered the most. I think he started his career in UP as a champion. He's leaving as a champion. I agree. I wanted QMB to be the finals MVP, but I'm not going to argue with people picking JD Kagulangan as their finals MVP. The best point guard in season 87, I would say.
Very good pick. I think si JD is the engine, diba? If QMB is the heart of UP, then JD is the engine that makes it running. There's a reason why they lost the title last year when he was allegedly hurt and did not play starters minutes. Me and Gab, the whole season have been clamoring to Coach Gold to play JD at least 30 minutes a game. And lo and behold, it happened and he won finals MVP. He was a mythical team member. At one point, even going head to head, toe to toe with KQ in the MVP rankings, I think in the first round. Any other thoughts, Gab, before my next pick?
Nothing. Just sad that he's not on my team. I just wanted him on my team, but can't argue with this. I'm happy that he's playing in an international league, in a league abroad. I would have been very sad if he just got drafted in the PBA because I think I've been saying it for so long. He has his caliber of a player is for a league that's beyond the Philippines. I really think that. Yes, people have criticized he's small, he can't shoot it as well as other point guards. I don't care. Have you watched this guy orchestrate an offense? Have you watched this guy play defense? Have you watched this guy read defenses and find open shooters, find open big men? He's one hell of a point guard. It doesn't matter that he's not a spectacular shooter. He still can shoot. It doesn't matter if he's small. He can still body up players. Yuki Kawamura's in the NBA. Height is
good point.
Yung height is not a decent argument for guards who are small. Not to make it in higher tier, in higher level pro league. So I don't buy the height argument that that JD is not fit for international play just because he's small. Again, we saw Yuki Kamamura dominate in the Olympics, and He's playing now in the for Memphis. John Morant is injured. He's getting minutes, so I don't buy it. I do think JD has the tools and has the basketball IQ to excel in the international level. Go na.
Okay din na may blueprint na si JD to excel internationally. Like guys like RJ Abarrientos, SJ Belangel, they've shown him the way. So I'm hoping he'll be successful internationally. Maui.
My next pick, I'm picking the heir apparent to Kevin Kiambao.
Wow.
I'm sure si Gab wanted to
Magagalit
pick
si Gab
this.
sa'yo.
But if you watch all our fantasy drafts, I usually draft a lot of wing players, a lot of versatile players who can switch on the defensive end and play multiple positions. There's a reason why we interviewed this guy. We loved him. He was very calm and humble. Very promising future, I think, for this guy. Should be part of future conversations for Gilas. Crazy to think that he's been playing basketball only for, I think, 4 years. Go watch our interview. I'm picking one of our favorite players from the UAAP, from FEU Tamaraos, VJ Pre.
VJ Pre, Gab, off the board. Anong masasabi mo?
Lang iya ka, Maui. I definitely wanted VJ. I mean, as he can play the three. I really believe that. I've seen his handles. He can play the three. And it's kind of crazy na yung sinabi ni VJ na after season 85, saka lang siya na yung tinabaho yung kanyang handles. Diba? Yung sinabi ni Coach Alan Albano sa kanya na, okay, yung wala na si Kirby Moncopa for season 86, ikaw na VJ ang main playmaker natin. So you have to work on your handles. At doon lang yan natutunan paano mag-dribble and work on his handles. That's just crazy. The development of this guy is just mind-blowing, and I'm so sad that he's off the board because he was on the top of my board, honestly. So I can't argue it. If he stays in FEU, I've said this in our previous video and interview with him and to our subscribers. It's not a hot take that FEU is gonna take home their 21st championship in the UAAP. I don't think that's a hot take. There are multiple talented players from FEU juniors that are coming in next season. So I'm excited. I'm excited for FEU. I do hope it stays. It stays that way, the development. I do hope si Mo Konate pa rin yung FSA. So, yun. Go ahead, Sammy.
I love that pick, VJ. I love that pick,
ulit.
VJ Pre. Yeah. I was expecting Gab to get him earlier. Akala ko siya yung magiging second pick ni Gab. But won't argue with that pick, Maui. Ikaw ulit for the third pick. Third pick in your team.
Yeah. For my third pick, I'll be going with another wing player. If JD and
Surprise.
if JD is the heart and QMB is the heart and JD is the engine, then Francis is the hero and the showstopper. I have to go with Francis Lopez, the guy that hit the biggest shot in last season 87. I think despite our comments that he has to continue to improve to be able to play abroad, I still think that he is one of those cheat codes in the UAAP. There's a reason why a lot of teams have been a lot of teams coveted this player when he did get to overtime, and why he got that chance to potentially play in overtime. I hope he continues to develop, diba? He showed that he can hit that 3-point shot this season. Maybe next season he can work on his handles and his playmaking, and then eventually maybe he could go that KQ route and play abroad, maybe in the Japan B League.
Not gonna argue with this. I did have Francis Lopez, but lower on my board. Yes, he was the hero, but I think both UP fans and non-UP fans can attest that he's an up and down player. I mean, let's look at the finals. He was an up and down player. Is it's just really difficult to have an iffy shooter beside QMB. I don't want to build around that. I mean, QMB is not a shooter by any means. Francis is iffy. Yes, he is a cheat code. His athleticism alone in the UAAP is a freaking cheat code. There is no one as athletic as this guy, and that's why he's so scary. I mean, flashy dunks. There's a reason a lot of teams just leave him to shoot because they are scared of him going to the rim because he just jumps so high. So, yung lineup mo, Maui, parang puro wings nga. Titignan ko lang ngayon. Lahat ng mga similar players kinuha mo. So, I'm not gonna argue with that. Sammy.
Oo nga eh. Yun din sasabihin ko eh. Si Maui basically picked the top 3 wings sa UAAP Season 87. KQ, VJ Pre, Francis Lopez. So, if that's the kind of lineup... Arguably, some of the top 3 wings or for season
I would say
87.
someone from UST has a legit argument to be there.
Okay, gets. Or maybe someone from NU, pwede din. But you would say, sige, sabihin natin top 5. Nandun sila sa top 5. So if that's the kind of lineup that Maui wants to build, those are good picks for me defensively. I think yung 3-point shooting yung question lang ni Gab. But hey, Francis Lopez hit the most clutch 3 of the season. Tama ka dun, Maui. So I'm not arguing with that. Okay, I think I'm next for my third pick. Since pinili ni Maui si VJ Pre, sa FEU, I'm going to have to pick one of the most clutch guys in season 87. Isasama ko siya or i-prepare ko siya kay JD Kagulangan. The two most clutch guys in season 87. Mr. Fourth Quarter himself. Another Gab Lim favorite.
I hate you.
Buckets Bautista. Ano masasabi mo doon, Gab?
Gusto ko ng murahin ngayon eh.
Kailangan niya na shooting.
Kailangan
Yes,
ng
front court.
Ay, oo nga. Kailangan mo siya ng shooting. Puro bigs ka eh.
Visit ka. But yeah, I wanted Jordan. I wanted Jordan. He was lined up. Sabi ko, Sam is gonna go for someone, I think, maybe from UST or NU. Maybe someone from Ateneo na slim pickings. But, nangya ka. But yeah, I mean, someone pointed out that we should have made award for clutch player of the year. And
Oo nga, nakita ko yun.
It definitely should have gone to Jorik. I mean,
Jorik,
I don't think that's an argument. Maybe si KQ yung
I agree.
other one that could have gotten close to Jorik. But Jorik had the most clutch points, I think. Most clutch moments this season. I mean, FU's first wins after the 0-5 start all came because of Jorik Bautista.
Oo nga eh. Ateneo, sa Ateneo pala, ang dami na niyang mga clutch plays eh, clutch baskets eh. So that's why I love picking Jorik Bautista. It was difficult for him kasi I think sa FEU siya naglaro, 'di ba? And they were struggling or trying to figure out yung the way they played together, especially nung first half. Pero imagine Jorik paired with guys like JD Kagulangan and Mike Phillips where he can just, look for his shots. I think that would be a lot easier for a guy like him. Anyway, Gab, what you were saying?
No, that's it. I really wanted him. I value his shooting a lot and his clutch genes. I really value that. So I'm definitely pissed at you, Sam. Parang yung objective lang niyo ni Maui is i-piss off ako eh. Pinipili niyo lang lahat ng mga
kinuha mo si Tongkare. Nasira na yung line up ko. Gab, ikaw
Okay.
na.
For my
Back to back.
third pick, and I have to search for something here. So I wanted Jorik. I obviously did, but yeah, fuck it. Yung slim pickings naman sa team na to. I'm picking Jared Bahay from Ateneo. I could have gone with Chris Kuhn at this spot, but I need a point guard. And I need someone with balls. And he may not have the clutch moments this season, may not have as much clutch moments of in this season as compared to like the likes of KQ Jorik, but he definitely does not lack the balls to take those shots. Jared Bay. He was very inefficient this season. Led the Rookie of the Year race for majority until the explosion of VJ Pre in the second round. But I do think Jared Bahay is a steady point guard, was a steady point guard for season 87. Did not turn the ball over a lot. Surprisingly, for a rookie point guard with who played as much minutes as he did not turn the ball over a lot this season. I would say he was at times very tentative. I think there were times I thought he should have gone more. He should have been more aggressive. I mean, there were times he was only took 13 shots. I think he should have taken more. The game against LaSalle in the second round where he scored 22 points, his career high. I thought that should have been the norm, and he just became more aggressive. Yes, he was disappointed after that game that his points did not come within the system. And I would tell Jared, I don't care. Take more. just do it more. This Ateneo team lacked offense this season. It lacked a ton of playmaking. He was the one who provided that. He shot the ball so many times as a rookie, was missed a ton, but he just kept on shooting. And it's the bright future for Ateneo. Again, he's a rookie point guard, and I think he handled that pretty well. A lot of eyes were on Jared Bahay also for this season. So I'm picking Jared Bahay. I do think he can distribute the ball to the likes of QMB and Motong Kara. And yes, he's not a decent defender. I mean, you compare him with his backup, si Ian Espinosa. His defense leaves a lot to be desired. That's what we're gonna say. But if you have someone like QMB and a Motong Kara right behind you, I think you could cover up those flaws from Jared Bahay. So I'm picking Jared.
Maui.
I think very valid yung grade kay Bahay after one season. He struggled right off the bat. I think teams were doubling him when he crossed up court. I'm excited to see how he works when Ateneo gets more weapons. Maybe to some people the hype was not real, but to me it was for last season. I love what I saw with Bahay despite the injury and all the hype. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I hope Ateneo gets more weapons. First with an FSA, then next with real shooting guard. Somebody who can shoot the 3-point shot, diba? I think Ateneo has to be able to space. Ateneo has to be able to space the floor, diba? If they want to maximize a guy like Jared Bahay. It was very hard for Bahay, but he remained very calm the whole season. Gab mentioned it. He was not turnover prone. Maybe there's a lot to be desired with his defense, but and his field goal shooting, I understand why he shot atrociously last season. Diba? Ateneo did not have weapons. He was basically getting the ball with no shot clock remaining. But we'll probably get a better idea of how good he really is if and when Ateneo gets more weapons to basically surround him. I love his pairing with Christian Porter, a big who can shoot. Maybe Ateneo can also get versatile forwards to play with him. Jared Bahay was legit in my opinion last season. I'm excited where they go from here.
Gab.
Okay, I think, yeah, it's my pick again, and I'm really having difficulty here. But I need shooting So I'm gonna go with a shooter, and I named him my most improved player for season 87. I'm going with Matty Erelon from the Adamson Soaring Falcons. Not just a shooter. I think we pointed that out in
Mhm.
our awards episode. He's more than just a shooter. Was the primary playmaker in a lot of lineups for Adamson in season 87. Him and Matt Erolon, the two Mats were essentially the top playmakers along with Royce Mantua in this
Montebon. Him
Adamson.
and
Ah,
Montebon.
Matthew Montebon, those three essentially took turns in trying to create offense. Joshua Yero tried, but I think if you're an Adamson fan, medyo sawa ka na sa playmaking ni Joshua Yero. It was these three. The two Mats and si Royce Mantua. But I'm going with Matt Erolon as a secondary playmaker beside Jared Bahay, as a guy who can space the floor. Mo can shoot. Matt Erolon is definitely a shooter. We've seen him take on a lesser role in past seasons for Adamson, where he wasn't the primary playmaker, and he excelled as an off-ball shooter. So I'm not worried about him not being the primary playmaker, maybe taking a backseat to Jared Bahay, making them taking turns and playing off each other. Defense will be a problem for these two, definitely, but I think with two very incredible rim protectors behind in QMB and Yung and Motongkara, I think I'll be okay. Sammy, Maui.
Actually, I'm surprised you picked I'm surprised you picked Bahay before him kasi kanina when you said you wanted to pick a guard na hopefully we didn't pick. I thought you were referring to Matt Erolon. Tama ha, grabe yung improvement ni Matt Erolon from last year. And I think you also called that out. Nung start of the season pa lang or even last season, you were very high on this guy, and I think start of the season you called him like a player to watch out for or something like that. I was very surprised with how good he was this season. It made it look like, I think that was the big difference for this season kasi they didn't miss Jerome Lastimosa. Even last season actually, medyo meron ng ganun. But I thought it would be the Cedric Manzano show, but because of Erolon and a lot of the supporting guys that we might talk about later, it was a more balanced team for Adamson. And I think that's the reason why they made it to the Final Four. Compared to the others, they just have like very solid guys. And Matt Erolon made sure na things ran well yung mga plays ni Coach Nash Racela, diba? I'm really amazed at how good this guy turned out for season 87. I didn't expect that. Just like how I didn't expect Adamson to make it to the Final Four.
Just to answer your question, Sam, on why I picked Jared Bahay first over Matt Erolon. I do think Jared Bahay is a better point guard than Matt
I agree.
Erolon.
Pero
Matt Erolon is the better shooter.
Sino yung guard na you were referring to kanina? Si Bahay o si Erolon?
The what?
Kanina, sabi mo, I have a guard na gusto ko i-pick since hindi ko na pwede i-pick si Fortsky. Sana hindi nyo kunin. Sino yun?
Oh, it was Joric.
Si Joric. Oh, yeah.
It was Joric. I wanted to pick Joric. Yeah, but you took him. I do think Jared Bahay is a better point guard than Matt Erolon. He can get to the basket better than Matt Erolon already. Matt Erolon tends to settle for those mid-range free throw line jump shots.
He loves that. He loves that spot.
Or tends to pull up from three when defenders go under the picks when he's the one running the show. So I do think he's better as an off-ball shooter. I mean, he's used to that role already. But he can also run pick and roll, which I like it. Which he can also create his own shot, which I like. As a distributor, I do think Jared Bahay is better than Matt Erolon. So that's why I had him there. Now, could I have gone with other guards? Maybe. But I do think Jared Bahay
I like that combo. Bahay and Erolon. I think that's a good combo. Two guards, your two starting guards.
Yeah, and if you look at Ateneo, I think you would be hard-pressed to find someone else who can contribute in the way that Jared Bahay can. Maybe si Tuanyo, so someone will get him as a scoring option off the bench. Chris Kuhn, I mean, if you want a switchable defender who can shoot, but there's a ceiling that Jared Bahay has shown this season. You saw it in spot games this season. This is the first game against UP, the second round game against LaSalle, the game against UE in the second round. This guy has clutch genes in him. He's still inefficient, but I think he'll learn to be more efficient as his career goes on. Maui or Sammy? Sammy, your
Next pick
next
na
pick.
ako. Yeah.
Your pick, Sam.
Okay. Love that pick. Medyo nahirapan ako. I have two guys in mind, but I'm going with a UST player. I'm going with, I would say, surprisingly, one of I think their top scorer and one of their best players this season, Nick Caballero. I was very surprised at how
Buti lang
good.
kinuha mo ahead of Maui kasi sure ako si Nick Caballero ang sunod ni Maui. Kung puro
I was
wins
very
ang-
favorite niya to eh. Top pick din niya to last season. I was very surprised actually at how dominant Nick Caballero was this season. I think I've said this before. Given na all the talent that joined yung UST team, diba? You have guys like Fortsky, Motong Kara, you still had Manaytay. But he proved to everyone na he's still the main man for UST, at least scoring-wise. And he worked on yung mga, I think, weaknesses niya in the past season. Slightly improved free throw shooting and a slightly better three-point shot, I think. A guy that I think can go abroad and can flourish abroad. I don't know if he's leaving, pero I think babalik siya. But my fourth pick is going to be Nick Caballero. Maui, alam ko he's one of your favorite players, so baka may any thoughts?
Tama si Gab. I could have picked Nick Caballero as my next pick. I love to get wing players who can play multiple positions, but actually I already have my next two picks online. When we talk about the UAAP, it always boils down to if you have a good point guard and if you have a good FSA. And I will go with the good point guard and probably the next best FSA since I can't pick na si Mo Konate anymore. I'll pick Precious Momoway and Fortsky Padrigao. So basically, I'll have Fortsky and Kevin Kiambao as my playmakers and three other wings.
Wow.
I'll consider Momoway as a wing big. So
nga
all of these guys are wing bigs. I'll have rim protection with Momoway and Francis Lopez and sort of VJ Pre and KQ switchability too. So very modern. I would consider a point guard and four wings. My current lineup. I like how I have KQ and Padrigao as my next facilitator, just because I think that they are two of the best passers in the UAAP. Probably you can have an argument that maybe si Kagulangan is a better passer than Padrigao, but he's probably the next best thing and has an argument for probably the best point guard for next season.
I would say
There's a
two
reason,
of the flashiest passers.
but there's a reason why they alternated as part of the mythical team as point guards. I have to say that I'm excited to see where UST goes from here. Hopefully they get si Tongkara back, kasi if they don't get that back, then all bets are off.
Yeah. I like the Fortsky and Kevin Kiambao pairing. Kasi yung itama ka sa amin, if there's one thing that you're gonna bank on with these two on your team, you're gonna have a lot of highlights. Marami kang highlight passes. Although the highlight passes came fewer in the past few seasons for KQ, but that has always been his calling card, you know. Idol niya si Jokic, di ba? Matagal niya sinasabi yun. Yung kaya siya gumagawa ng mga flashy passes na yun because yun yung gusto niya. Definitely a ton of highlights. Yun nga yung pain ko na nasabi ko sa inyo when I picked QNB at si Mo nung first two picks ko. I won't be able to take si Fortsky and si JD, and I really wanted those two on my team. Precious, I didn't have Precious at the top of my board, to be honest. Kasi I think Precious kind of disappointed this season, to be honest.
Versus previous season niya, no?
Not even yung previous season sa amin. Even yung preseason, we expected him to dominate. He just didn't.
Should have been, di ba, without a doubt, the top FSA.
Yeah, I thought it should have been definitely him, but he struggled to create his own shot. He just really did. Uh, Precious Momoe post-ups were just one of the more painful things to watch
I was
in the
gonna say,
UAP,
like,
especially in the
kasalanan din
second
ba yun
round.
ni Coach Jack? Kasi pinapa-post up niya si Momoe.
Uh, I would say, yeah, partly. I I did say this in the second round
Yeah.
when they started losing. I was calling for just to stop the Precious Momoe post-ups because he just can't. He can't. As soon as he sees a double team, he turns the ball over. One-on-one, I think you can bank on him to get what, a basket maybe 70 to 80% of the time. But as soon as you send that double, he just fumbles. A lot of times it just leads to turnovers and bad decisions. So wasn't a fan of that. I thought he should have been used more as the way he was used in 86 as a role guy, as a guy that you give to near the basket where he's deadly. But as a guy who tries to create his own offense, man, it was so painful to watch Precious. Plus the fouls, the defensive lapses, his tools are definitely there. The hot-headedness, amount of complaining he does. Wasn't a good season for Precious. Which is why I didn't have him at the top of my board. I actually tried to avoid him. As much as possible, I wanted to avoid picking Precious. It was not a good season for Precious Momoe.
Okay, next pick for me. Fifth pick for my team. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, pero sige, ito na lang. Since right now I have Mike, JD. Okay, I'm gonna pick a big man. I'm going to pick one of Gab's favorites. Yo boy, PJ Palacielo from the NU Bulldogs. I think overall, given that he didn't have an FSA to play with, that he was forced to play center for basically the entire season, PJ Palacielo did pretty well. There were times na he dominated, and those are the times na NU was very competitive. They kept things close. Although there were times na he was a non-factor, got into foul trouble a lot. But again, I think that was also because he had to play the big man minutes, most of the big man minutes, and guard the FSAs or the other bigs like Mike Phillips or QMB. So if you pair PJ Palacielo with Mike Phillips and put him in his natural position, which is I think the 4 spot, I think that would be a good pairing for PJ. He can focus on scoring, rebounding. Mike can help him out on the defensive end. So I'm going with PJ Palacielo.
I actually did not have him top of my board, Sammy. I know
Well,
yung
you have
objective
two
mo.
bigs na eh. You have two bigs.
Two
So,
bigs
hindi ko
na.
rin naman in-expect na kukunin mo siya.
I know your objective is just to piss me off sa draft na to, Sam Santos. Pero
Hindi! Hindi!
hindi yan gumana sa akin ngayon.
Hindi. Hindi ko naman in-expect.
No, but
Hindi ko naman expect.
I agree. Actually, Sammy, it wasn't na he played center for most of the year. He was the only center left standing. Diba? Nawala
Totoo.
lahat ng center nila from the preseason. Umalis si Joe Golapa, na-injure si Mo Diazana, hindi na line up si Omar dyan. At na-injure pa nung mid-season si Kirk Persano. So literally he was the only center remaining for that's 4 centers that they had in the preseason who were playing for them. All of them were gone.
Grabe no? Like, ang dami nilang centers to start. Hindi mo alam paano makakalaro lahat. And then nawala lahat. Isa-isa nawala.
Yep. But hey, nung last win against LaSalle, to end their season, that was PJ's game. He won them that game. He dominated that game. So, yeah, he has these moments of brilliance. You see it from PJ. When his post moves, when his post game is on point, he looks like one of the better big men in the UAAP. But there are times, as you said, Sammy, na he just makes boneheaded decisions. Fouling a lot, turnovers. But I think given the need, he provided it. He provided that need that NU had, that NU had. They had a big hole in the middle that they needed to fill, and PJ performed admirably. I think it was a mini PJ Palacelo breakout for season 87. I did
Mini.
say at the start of the season the PJ Palacelo breakout is coming. It didn't fully come, but it sort of came. The PJ Palacelo breakout, but next year's I think it's gonna be his 4th season in the UAP. I do think he's gonna be relied upon by Coach Jeff a lot more. So hopefully we see better things from PJ Palacelo. Okay. For my
Gab,
5th,
isang pick lang muna and then let's recap yung
Yeah,
starters natin.
I was gonna say, let's recap after this one pick. So again, I value shooting. So I'm gonna pick, despite his really cold stretch in the second round, I still think he is the best shooter in the UAAP. Welo Lingo from the UE Red Warriors. The most beautiful shooting stroke, I would have to say, in the UAAP. Was hot to start the season. Was hot until the second game of the second round against NU, where he hit 3 threes, carried the team to victory in the fourth quarter of that game. Disappeared for the rest, but I think there is still a fear when Welo Ligo steps onto that floor that he is going to shoot you out of this game because he is such a deadly shooter. You have to respect it. Despite him being cold, you have to respect his shooting. So I'm going with Welo Lingo to go along with Matt Erolon and Jared Bahay on the perimeter.
Okay, quick recap of the starting fives in our Season 87 Fantasy Draft. Maui, ang team mo so far, KQ, VJ Pre, Francis Lopez, Precious Momoy, and your point guard, Fortsky Padrigao, all-wing lineup. For my team, it's Game Shark Mike, JD Kagulangan, Joric Buckets Bautista, Nick Cabanero, PJ Palacelo. For Gab, he went with QMB as his first pick, Mo Tongkara as his second pick, Jared Bahay, Matt Erolon, and pure shooter, Welo Lingo. So we're done with our starting five. Gab, you're the next pick. Let us know who is your first guy coming off the bench.
So the first guy coming off the bench, I obviously need some defense, some switchable defense. The 3 players I picked recently, I picked more for their offense, but I'm picking someone who can play defense and defend multiple positions. I'm going with Jake Figueroa of NU. Undoubtedly, the best player of NU this season. Now, he's not a knockdown shooter by any means. I mean, you watched him this season. He struggled to make his outside shots. But I do love that he took on the alpha role in NU with the departure of Kian Baclaan. Going to the basket, I think there's no one better in the UAAP. When Jake Figueroa goes to the basket, it's pretty difficult to stop him. Again, this guy is huge. He played as a big in high school, and it shows. He's a good rebounder for a guy his size. He's a good rim protector for a guy his size. How many highlight blocks did he have this season? I distinctly remember around 2 or 3 or more highlight blocks from Jake Figueroa, despite his small stature. I love that he takes on the best offensive player on defense. He wanted all the KQ smoke whenever they would match up. So I'm taking him. Definitely as a 6-man. You can even start him.
For sure.
You can even bring Tongkara off the bench to back up QMB and start Jake Figueroa beside him if you want a more small ball lineup out there. So I'm going with Jake. I've been very impressed. It would have been a better season for NU if Mo Diazana did not get injured, in my opinion, because we saw what they did in the second round with a small ball lineup. Their defense has been pretty solid, and a lot of it has to do with Jake Figueroa.
Agree. Kita mo yung ceiling ng NU eh, 'di ba? They were able to beat. They were the only teams that beat UP in Lasal last season. He was supposed to be my next pick.
Sabi ko na
Figueroa,
nga,
just
wings eh. Wings, sabi ko wings dito.
Wings.
Yung maburat si Maui.
Tsaka guy who can play multiple positions. I love the development of Figueroa. We don't see a lot of big men from the high school division be able to convert fully to a wing or to a guard in the seniors division. I think the biggest question right now is, will he stay with NU or will he go pro? I think there have been rumblings that he might go pro. Sila ni Manansala. So that would be something to watch out for aside from the FSA question for NU coming into season 88. But love the pick. I love Figueroa. He was one of my under the radar picks or most improved picks from last season. I love how he was able to really shift yung game niya to a wing after last season's preseason.
Okay. For my next pick, I'm going to pick someone from Ateneo. And initially, when I started this draft, sabi ko, ihuhuli ko na yung Ateneo. Medyo slim pickings.
Balogun. Balo.
Hindi,
Wala ka
hindi,
pang
ito.
FSA, Sammy.
Wala pa ang FSA, no? Balogun na lang. And plano ko talaga bandang dulo, I'll pick Sean Tuanyo as my off the bench guy. Pero since may Mike Phillips ako, parang hindi yata pwedeng magkasama si Sean tsaka si Mike kasi baka ifa-foul lang ako ng kalaban ko. So I'm also surprised that this guy is still available. So if we're talking about guy who can play multiple positions, a guy who can offer your team good 3-point shooting, a graduating player, I'm going with Chris Kuhn. Off the bench, I can play Chris Kuhn multiple positions. He can give me 3-point shooting. He can defend. He's what, like 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", can guard. Sometimes he plays center for Ateneo, so I think he can guard multiple positions. I love it. I'm going with Chris Kuhn as my sixth man off the bench.
Kinuha nyo next 2 picks ko.
Alam namin
Gab,
yung
go.
style mo,
Go ahead,
Maui
Gab.
eh. Puro
Go
wings
ahead.
ka eh.
Alam namin style mo, Maui eh. Pero yeah, I'm not angry with you with this pick. I mean, if it wasn't gonna be Jared Bahay from Ateneo, I was definitely looking at Chris Kuhn. Again, where do you see a 6'5", 6'6" guy who can play 4 possessions, even 5 possessions on the floor for this season for Ateneo? A guy who can shoot, handle the ball, protect the rim at times, rebound pretty well. It's Chris Kuhn. He didn't take the leap that we all wanted from him, but as a role player, I think you can't get anyone better. Again, and he's 6'5", 6'6", and he plays as a guard. That's crazy. If only he was as good as Cake, you would be talking more about Chris Kuhn. I mean, he definitely has the physical tools for him. It never came, but as a role player on your team, Sammy, I like the Chris Kuhn pick. I mean, he doesn't have to play make. I mean, you have Nick Cabanero and Joric with you and JD. You can just stand in the corner and shoot threes.
Yep, I love it.
Which is what he did when they won the championship, diba? Si Chris
That's
Kuhn.
true.
I think that's his best role as a 3-and-D and as a versatile forward. For my next pick, I'm going with the big from Adamson, Cedric Manzano. Probably one of the few, despite not being that tall, who could match up with other FSAs, diba? I mean, despite Ojarikre not being a top-tier FSA, Adamson still managed to get to the Final Four. And I think this guy deserves a lot of credit for that. You have to go to somebody at times, diba? When your offense is not clicking, and Manzano has the footwork, has the post game to be able to dominate in any game. I think he is one of. There's a reason why a lot of players that we interview are saying that he's that welcome to the UAAP guy. That's how strong he is. That's how much of a big man he is. That's how skilled he is. I think he's still underrated. I'm not sure. Adamson will have to do everything in their power to retain his services for next season because he might go pro also. Being another guy who has been in the UAAP for a few years already. I need another big man with Momoe. Diba? Momoe has the tendency to pick up quick fouls and is somebody who is hot-headed, who can get suspended. Diba? That's been proven the past 2 seasons, whether he did it intentionally or not. But Manzano is that steady of a big man, in my opinion. If he were probably 2 to 3 inches taller, we could probably put him in the same conversation as a QMB for Gilas. But yeah, I think he will have a very promising career in the PBA. Any thoughts, or do I go to my next pick?
No, I do want to give some thoughts on Cedric because I obviously love Cedric Manzano. I've said it since when he started playing in the UAP. This guy was born 10 years too late. If he was playing the 2000s, he would have been an MVP. Uh, just a guy who can punish you in the paint, and again, he's so strong. Very apparent when you watch him live how strong he is. Well, he's very difficult to box out. I saw him in season 86 against Ateneo when Vince McBuos hit that buzzer beater. Before that, it was all Cedric Manzano offensive rebounds. Joe Obasa could not do anything about this guy in the offensive glass. He was that strong. But Cedric just screams to me as a guy who is definitely headed for the PBA. I think his game is suited for the PBA style. A guy who is able to pound it in the paint, who can get paint buckets, who can protect the rim some, can grab a ton of rebounds. I think if he's eventually gonna go pro and he opts to get drafted in the PBA, I think a lot of PBA teams would crave for his services. Sammy.
Yeah. Love that pick. Wanted to pick him next, actually. Maui, let's go with your last pick.
Last two pa. We're only at
Sorry,
number
last
six,
two,
I
last
think.
two. Oh, sorry, last two.
My next
So,
pick
isa
is
pa, next pick.
is a defensive specialist. No. My next pick is somebody I think that you have to have when you're a championship team. There's a reason why players like Abadiano are crucial to winning championships. It has to be Steve Nash Enriquez from NU. You have to have a pest. You have to have a guy who dives for the ball. Somebody who would do anything to win your games. And that, I think, is Steve Nash. Despite being undersized, I think he rebounds the ball well for a point guard.
Yun yung naisip ko lang kay Steve Nash. He's a very similar player to Ian Espinosa of Ateneo. Both play, I think, pretty similarly. Both are pests. Both are pretty good backup point guards. I do remember when Janjan Felisil departed, I really thought that we were gonna get more from Steve Nash, but he's just been a good backup. He hasn't taken that leap offensively that we all wanted from Steve Nash. I mean, well, the entry of Kian Baclan also kind of cut his ceiling, so he wasn't able to get the majority of the usage. But as a backup, as a leader of this team, I think he's done well, and I think he's staying for. There are no indications that he's leaving for next season, so I think he's still gonna be there for season 88, playing out his last season. So I do hope that they get some success. At sana they're healthy for season 88. I mean, they were pretty banged up for this season. He was banged up prior to this season, so I like the pick. As a backup to Forsky, you can't go wrong with Steve Nash Enriquez.
Okay. I'm going for my 7th pick. Since napili na si Cedric Manzano, I'm going with another Adamson player. I'm going with AJ Franzman. Versatile player. I think as a guy off the bench, I can't complain. One of the more consistent guys for Adamson this season. And a big surprise. Also another big surprise for me. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, si Coach Nash just keeps surprising me with like these players. The improvements of Erolon. The emergence of guys like Franzman and Royce Mantua. I was trying to pick between Mantua, Franzman, and Montebon, but I like yung versatility ni Franzman. For a bench guy, I love the versatility. Yeah, so I'm going with AJ Franzman.
I like it. AJ Franzman, definitely one of the under the radar wings for this season. As I said, if he played in the Final Four against LaSalle, they would have lost by 10 or 15 and not 20 plus. So,
Natatawa pa rin ako. I've heard this before, pero natatawa pa rin ako when you say it.
I mean, he's a guy who can provide offense and switchability on defense and can guard bigger guys. So, you can give that. He can get you closer to tie the game. Maybe
Mga single digit man lang.
No, I still don't think so. 10 to 15. Bawi na lang yung tamba. Okay.
Last two picks. Yeah.
Last two picks.
Last two.
For my final two picks. So I have to get someone from FEU and LaSalle. I'm gonna go with LaSalle first. I'm gonna get a backup big, and I think as a guy, I've said it. Best offensive center that LaSalle has, it's Raven Gonzalez. It was either him or Agunane or Konov. I can't pick Agunane. I don't want to pick Agunane. I think that makes sense. Konov, nah. So it's definitely going to be Raven Gonzalez as a guy you can find on that mid-range for those 15-foot floaters. Hell of a touch inside the paint. Again, he's pretty undersized, right? It's crazy to say that a guy standing 6'8", 6'9" is undersized for a center, but he is undersized as a center. But he's he has a great touch around the rim. As a sixth guy or a seventh guy off the bench, can give you some offense. It's a great target. KQ loves to find him in games for those shots around the basket. So I'm going Raven Gonzalez from LaSalle. And for my last pick for this draft, I'm going to go with, you know what? You might expect me to take John Ray, but no, I'm taking Royce Alforque from FEU.
I'm not mad.
I said it in our last episode. He is my underappreciated player of the season. I think he's had a ton of good games for FEU. He started for a stretch in the second round for Coach Sean Chambers and played pretty well. There were a bunch of games where he was the one who brought them back in the game. Again, he's just like Steve Nash. He didn't take the leap that you expected him to when guys like LJ Gonzalez and RJ Aborientos left. You thought that he would be the next guy maybe to take on that lead playmaker role. But no, he's a backup. Just like Steve Nash and Enriquez, he's a backup. He's a very good backup, performed well in his role this season. Now you might ask, why not get John Ray? I do think Royce Alforque played better than John Ray this season. Fight me. I think he did. FEU fans, I know you were frustrated with Royce, but I do think Royce Alforque had a better season than John Ray Pasaol. He just did. He was a better playmaker, had clutch baskets. Remember that game against Ateneo? A bunch of those clutch baskets not only came from Joric in the fourth quarter, it came from Royce Alforque. So, I think as a veteran guard, you can back up with Jared Bahay or can teach Jared Bahay some stuff. There's no one better than Royce Alforque. Shocking, I know that I picked Royce. Despite a ton of the criticisms hurled this way, I still think he had a pretty good season 87.
Maui, anything to add?
Yeah, I think very good pick yung Alforque, and I think he's an underappreciated player. The point guard slot is the hardest slot in the UAAP. Second to probably the FSA or center slot. You have to have somebody who has experience to be a good team, diba? I think that's something that most teams need. Very rare that you see at a young point guard leading a championship team, having a solid veteran backup. I think if you go way back in 2002, remember when Ateneo won that championship? It wasn't L.A. Tenorio, diba? The heir apparent to finish out the game. It was Epo Kimpo. Diba? You sometimes have to go with the veteran guard, and Alforque has that experience, has proven himself with all of the battles he had in the UAAP.
Gab, ako disappointed lang ako kasi I really wanted you to pick John Ray Pasaol para you can build the all taunting lineup with Mo Tongkara and John Ray Pasaol. Imagine all the technical fouls you would get for taunting if you had those two guys. Okay, I'm
I
going
think
with my...
si Maui na yung winner dun. May Francis Lopez siya, may Precious Momoway, may Fortski.
Oo nga
yun na
pala,
yun
no.
eh.
Malamang siya sa
Plus si
technical
Cedric
fouls.
Manzano na yung mahilig maniko.
Malamang siya, medyo lamang siya.
Yan yung all technical foul team mo kay Maui.
Anyway, going with my last pick. Sa akin has to be someone from UE. Can't decide between John Abate and Rainier Maga. I think both guys were very good for UE this season. But I have to go with Rainier Maga just because he was probably the most consistent UE player. Na-mention mo, Gab, like Welo Lingo, even Precious Momoway. These guys were up and down. First half, way up. Second round, way down. I think the only guy that was more or less consistent for them was Rainier Maga. The point guard of the future, I would say, for UE next year, if he stays with UE. Big surprise for me this season then, Rainier Maga. I love him. I love that pick as my number 8.
I like it. A pretty pleasant surprise for UE in season 87. Now, it wasn't a good season. No, it was a good half season for UE. But overall, I think you'd be disappointed if you're a UE fan. But this one rain of shining light for this season is definitely Rainier Maga. You found a gem. Again, preseason, he was my, who is this guy shooting threes for UE? Diba?
May nickname na. Rainier Shining Light Maga.
Hoy, pwede! I like it. Okay, Maui, your last pick.
Okay, so for my last pick, it's Ateneo. I have Ateneo on the board. I was debating whether to go Tuano or Lazaro. I'm going Lazaro. Just because I already have all of these scorers already on my lineup. You have to have that guy who can defend all 5 positions and who can be your point of attack defender. I think Lazaro had a very good first round this season, but is at his best when defense is his calling card, diba? It's his calling card. When you don't expect him to score, that's when he's at his best. Bonus na lang if he scores 10 points, grabs 8 rebounds, but I think his main best trait is really his defense and intensity on the court. I've loved Lazaro since he was in high school. I'm hoping he stays in one more year with Ateneo and maybe be more consistent for next season. Be good both rounds. I hope he doesn't play the 5 next season for Ateneo.
Yun lang.
If he does play the 5, then I don't think Ateneo will still get to the Final 4 next season. If he plays a ton of minutes at the 5, maybe some minutes. But I love Lazaro. Versatility. If you talk about offensive versatility, Lazaro has that defensive versatility. You have to have that when you're a championship team. What more when you have a team filled with wing players? I love Lazaro. Lazaro is my last pick for this draft. I'm a bit surprised na last ako nag-pick sa Ateneo.
Oo nga eh.
I really thought that you were gonna go with Sean Tuano. So,
yeah, ako din actually. But it's a good pick for a guy off the bench, yung versatility din ni Lazaro. I like that pick.
Let's draft our coaches.
Sige. Quick lang. Just pick a coach. Quick explanation since medyo overtime na tayo. Maui, sino ang coach mo for your team?
I'll go with the championship coach, Coach Gold.
Man.
I think I got a lot of flank sa pod ni Naveen. I wasn't able to explain why Coach Gold is a good coach and why UP has a great system. I think Coach Gold is a perfect guy to manage yung players like Momoway and Padregao and Manzano. Those guys who pick technical fouls, diba? A coach who can manage 18 assistant coaches and be able to squeeze enough out of them to be able to get that championship. I think Coach Gold is the perfect person. There's a reason why I think si Coach Gold and Coach Tab have been two of the best coaches probably the past decades or so, diba? There's a reason why UP has been in the finals for 5 seasons about of 6, something like that, or 4 out of 5 if I'm not mistaken, diba? That the past three finals they've been featured. It's not about the players most of the time, diba? When you have a consistent championship caliber team, it's mostly because of your coaching staff. And when you talk about coaching staff, you have to give credit the most to the one that is the star of the coaching staff, which is the head coach, diba? We can talk about Tom Chua, we can talk about Christian Luanzon, Ryan Alba for the analytics, and all the other guys. But at the end of the day, Coach Gold is the guy that was able to build that team, that was able to make everything work, diba? From the assistant coaches to the experts, analytic experts, even defensive and offensive end. So I have to say that si Coach Gold, diba? Kasi it's hard to pick Coach Tab when the team just didn't make the Final Four.
Sammy.
I agree, but I wanted to pick Coach Tab then, but I'm judging him based on season 87, last place yung team niya. So I'm going to swerve and I'm going to do like a fun pick. An appreciation pick. I'm going with Coach Jeff Napa from NU. He struggled. His team struggled. They struggled at the start of the season, but I really appreciated Coach Jeff Napa, what he did this season, being the only coach that has defeated both LaSalle and UP in the season. That's something to be proud of. And given where they came from, without an FSA, diba? And given where they came from na last for most of the season, they actually almost had a chance to make it to the Final Four. I'm giving it to Coach Jeff Napa. And then marami siyang moments, diba? Yung moment na naiyak siya. I want an appreciation post for Coach Jeff Napa.
I'm not overthinking this. I can't believe you guys left him on the board for me. I'm picking Coach Tab. Yeah, his team was last, but coaching acumen and tactics, there is no one better in the UAAP than Coach Tab. Fight me. I still think that. The fact that he was able to squeeze 4 wins out of this Ateneo team is a marvel to me.
Without an FSA then.
Without an FSA din. Diba?
Grabe, hindi naman nakaban ng FSA parang sa UST. Nandun pa rin naman siya.
Nandun pa rin
naman si Balogun. Yung nandun pa rin naman si Balogun. But, come on, he was playing a 6'3 center for majority of the season. I obviously watch a ton of Ateneo games. I'm from that school. And despite the difficulty with handling opposing bigs because we just lack bigs, despite the difficulty with efficiency, with outside shooting, because let's face it, Coach Tab is stuck with his ways. He has ways that he doesn't want to change. He plays his seniors, his vets a ton, and he sticks to those guys. But tactics-wise, I don't think there's anyone better in the UAP. I've seen enough of Coach Tab the past how many years to know that if Ateneo does not renew him for season 89 and beyond, it would be Ateneo's loss. There will be a ton of pro teams internationally, national teams abroad, who will come knocking
not just
at
pro
Coach
teams,
Tab's
national
door.
teams then, yes.
Yes, he might have been last place this season. That does not discount the fact that his basketball mind is still the best in the UAAP. It just is. I have not seen anything from Coach Gold, Coach Topex, Coach Nas, or from anyone in the UAP to convince me that they are better in terms of basketball planning and game planning and just planning around and just thinking of ways to win games. There's no one better than Coach Tab. I'm gonna say it again just so it's entrenched in everyone's mind. Him leaving Ateneo after this season is going to be a loss for the Ateneo Blue Jays. I think that
It-
if he wants to stay, you get him to stay. You don't
Do
allow him.
everything you can to make him stay.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, he was last place this season, but I mean, just look at the lineup that he was given, that he had. You can criticize his rotations, you can criticize his recruitment, but to me, he's still the best basketball mind in the UAP, maybe even the Philippines. Again, he will find work if he's not in the UAP after season 88. Someone will get Coach Tab.
I love that pick, Gab. I wanted to pick Coach Tab. I just wanted to shout out Coach Jeff Napa. But I do know Coach Tab's kryptonite, si Coach Gabi Severino, has not won against Coach Gabi and the FEU team in the past 2 seasons. So, yun lang yung kailangan mo against Coach Tab. Kidding aside, I think that's it for our picks. So let me do a quick recap. For Maui, KQ, VJ Pre, Francis Lopez, Momoe, Padrig, Fortsky, Baby Boy, Steve Nash, Lazaro. For me, it's Mike, JD Kagulangan, Joric, Nick Cabanyero, PJ Palasielo, Chris Kuhn, Franzman, and Rainier Maga. For Gab, it's QMB, Tongkara, Bahay, Erolon, Lingo-Lingo, Figueroa, Gonzalez, and Alforque. I guess the biggest surprise or missing player here, the best FSA, the mythical 5 guy, Mo Konate. Fortunately, we couldn't pick multiple FEU players, so napili na kasi yung other FEU players. That's why we couldn't pick him. Other surprises, I guess, Josh David for LaSalle, who was in the top 10 of MVP voting. Jolo Manansala for NU. Jerry Abadiano would have been also a good pick, but again, tatlo lang kami, so we can only pick 3 guys from each team. That's it for today's episode. Please comment down below your picks for your Season 87 fantasy draft. Sino yung mga pipiliin yung top 8 players from each team.
At kung sino sa tingin yung nanalo ng draft.
And sino sa tingin nyo nanalo sa draft. And hopefully you continue to listen to the channel, support the show. We do have a lot more stuff to talk about for the rest of the off-season until season 88, which is like what, 10, 11 months from now. We'll see. That's it for today. Happy New Year. Ingat kayong lahat. Enjoy your vacation. Bye-bye.